hopefully the next 8 to 10 minutes will help you win your fantasy leagues this year. Today, let's look at young players in the Eastern Conference with potential to break out in the 2022-23 NHL season. Cole Sillinger of the Columbus Blue Jackets is one young player with breakout potential on my watch list. He made the NHL as an 18-year-old and was somewhat of a surprise rookie from his draft class. Although he only averaged around 13 minutes a night last year, he was still able to put up 16 goals and 31 points in his first pro season. Sillinger definitely had moments where he did not look like an 18-year-old rookie. With a slightly improved team around him and one full year of NHL experience under his belt, I feel like Sillinger will only continue to get better and will likely grow into a bigger role on the Blue Jackets offense. So if all goes well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him break the 20 goal plateau and possibly be a 40 to 50 point player this year. Anton Lundell of the Florida Panthers is another super underrated forward that deserves more attention in the Eastern Conference. He actually had a pretty decent rookie year, finished the season with 18 goals, 26 assists, and 44 points in only 65 games. And what's most impressive was he saw limited offensive time on the team's top 6 forward group and only averaged around 15 minutes of ice time a night, mostly used on the team's third line. With Florida being such a deep offensive team, I personally feel like Lundell was a bit underused last year. And to be quite frank, I think the Florida Panthers were actually a bit surprised that he was that good that early in his NHL career. So if Lundell continues to improve, the Panthers probably have no choice but to get him more opportunity to play higher up in their lineup. And with an opportunity to play with more talented line mates, Lundell's fantasy stats could definitely expand, where he becomes a 25 to 30 goal scorer and possibly a 65 to 70 point player very soon. Subscribe! Ross Colton of the Tampa Bay Lightning is another potential sleeper with breakout potential heading into this season. Although he is considered more of a depth forward on the Lightning offense right now, Colton has shown year-over-year improvement since entering the NHL back in 2020. Mostly used as a bottom 6 forward last year, Colton only averaged around 12 minutes a night, but was still able to chip in a career-high 22 goals and 39 points. So it's safe to say that his efficiencies are there, and it's quite impressive considering that he wasn't even a top 6 forward on the Lightning. We also can't forget that Tampa lost some key players this summer, so I feel like Colton could definitely get a bigger role and maybe see some minutes on the team's second line throughout the year. If that happens, I wouldn't be surprised to see him blow up and possibly be a 30 goal 60 point player. So in your fantasy drafts, Colton might be a solid sleeper to target, as he has potential to come out of nowhere and blow up for teams looking for a mid to late round steal. Moving on to the Buffalo Sabres. Now heading into this season, they might be one of the most exciting teams to watch, and I feel like they have a handful of players who are capable of having a career year in 2023. In many ways, Buffalo might be a goldmine for fantasy hockey. I feel like I can make a pretty strong case for at least 4 to 5 players to have a huge breakout year. My list probably includes JJ Peterka, Jack Quinn, Dylan Cozens, Owen Power, Alex Tuch, Casey Middlestat, and Peyton Krebs. Subscribe! But if I had to narrow down my list to only 2 players, I would probably have to go with Dylan Cozens and Peyton Krebs as my 2 breakout players. Cozens is already considered a huge franchise piece for the Buffalo Sabres. We saw him somewhat break out last year, scoring 13 goals and 38 points in 78 games. Those might not be super impressive numbers, but they are definitely a huge step from his first season in the NHL. If Cozens continue to trend up, then a 38-point season is probably not his ceiling. In that, many see him more as a 20 to 25 goal and a 60 to 65 point player. With a solid young core of high-end prospects around him only getting better, I feel like Cozens' offensive numbers should definitely increase this year. Unless he falls off the face of the earth, I have a hard time not seeing him set new career highs by the end of next season. Peyton Krebs of the Buffalo Sabres is another young forward who I feel like might be a fantasy sleeper and has the ability to give you a huge surprise breakout year, but unfortunately I don't think he is on too many people's radar. He joined the Sabres in the middle of last season after the huge Jack Eichel trade and finished their year on a high note with the Sabres, scoring 22 points in 48 games. Obviously, those stats could be better, but we can't forget that last year was only Krebs' first half season in the NHL. So heading into this year with a fresh start and the full year in a Sabres uniform, I feel like he will continue to improve and get better as he gets familiar with his team and teammates. From afar, it seems like the Sabres consider Krebs as one of their main top 6 forwards for the future. So he'll definitely get lots of opportunities to produce playing with skilled players like Alex Tuch and Tage Thompson. Since Krebs only had 7 goals and 22 points last year, I feel like his bar isn't exactly high, and there's a good chance that he could at least double or possibly even triple his production next year. So definitely don't sleep on Peyton Krebs, as he could be a very sneaky good pickup. Seth Jarvis of the Carolina Hurricanes is another young forward who I feel like has potential to break out again offensively this season. I say again because in his first full season as a full-time NHL player, Jarvis already scored 17 goals and 40 points, which is very impressive for a rookie. And heading into this year, he is still super young at only 20 years old, but is already considered one of the Hurricanes' legit top 6 scoring forwards. So heading into this year, they will definitely count on Jarvis to score, and he will be given every opportunity to succeed. If he gets to spend the full year on a line with someone like Sebastian Aho, then I feel like 30 goals and 60 points is totally within reach for Jarvis. However, many people feel like 60 points is actually a bit low for Jarvis, as he definitely has the skill set and talent to possibly be an 80-point player in the NHL someday. Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils is another young forward in the East with a legit shot to have a huge breakout year in 2023. The former first overall pick had somewhat of a slow start to his NHL career, but it's important to point out that we actually saw a year-over-year improvement in his scoring stats for 3 straight seasons. Especially in year 3, we saw Jack Hughes set a new career high 56 points in only 49 games. If he didn't get hurt, the stats show he could have easily been an 80-point player last year. It also doesn't hurt his chances that the team around him is slowly getting better. So if Hughes is able to stay healthy all year next season, I think he has a good chance to once again set new career highs and possibly be a top 15 or top 20 scorer in the NHL next year. Moving on, Tim Stützle of the Ottawa Senators is another talented young forward I feel like many people should look out for, especially if you want a young player with upside to potentially be a superstar someday. Since entering the league at 18, Stützle has already shown many flashes of brilliance and was able to double his production from year 1 to year 2, jumping from a total of 29 points to 58. Most impressively, Stützle was able to produce consistently as an 18 and 19-year-old on a few very bad Ottawa Senator teams. Ottawa brought in more help this summer, adding players like Giroux and DeBrincat, who should help Stützle bring his game to the next level. So in terms of scoring and upside, I might be a little bit bullish, but I feel like Stützle is ready to explode offensively any minute, and has potential to become an 80 or even 90-point player in the NHL sooner than most people think. Moving on to the Detroit Red Wings. I feel like there are 2 young players you should definitely keep an eye on starting this season. First player on my watch list is defenseman Maurice Cider. As a 20-year-old rookie, he was able to put up an impressive 50 points in 82 games and dominated a lot of plays for the Red Wings on both ends of the ice. He averaged almost 24 minutes a night, and the crazy thing is his ice time will probably increase for the next several years, giving him even more opportunities to set new career highs. Even though 50 points is already quite high for a young defenseman, I feel like Cider's ceiling might be even higher, possibly in the 60 to 70 range. With more help up front this year and better goaltending, I could see this new Detroit Red Wings team possibly help Seider double his goal count from 7 to around 14 or 15 this season. In Dynasty Leagues, I think Seider is one of those rare franchise defensemen you might have to reach for earlier in your drafts, because he could be a very special player for the next 5 to 10 years. Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings is another offensive dynamic forward you might want to look out for this year. In his rookie year, he put up 23 goals and 57 points in 82 games, and to be quite frank, he did not look like a rookie at all. Personally, like many other people, I'm super high on Lucas Raymond and see him with potential to become an elite scorer in the NHL very soon. Compared to everyone on this list, I have him in the same tier as someone like Tim Stützle of the Ottawa Senators. Already a legit top line forward for the Red Wings, the added help up front should only help Raymond's numbers. Personally, I think he's too good to be only a 50 to 60 point player, as I see more upside in him to become a 30 goal and 75 point plus player in the NHL. Caufield of the Montreal Canadiens is another young player with huge breakout potential. He had a very slow start last season but really picked things up, especially in the second half of the year when Martin St. Louis took over the Canadiens. If I remember correctly, I think he had something like 35 points in 37 games under St. Louis. So there's a chance that Caufield becomes a 70 point player with a full season under Marty St. Louis. Drafted for his offensive scoring abilities, I feel like Caufield is going to live up to his hype and will be a lethal scorer for the Canadiens for a long time. He reminds me a little bit of Alex DeBrincat 2.0, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him possibly be a 40 goal scorer and a 65 plus point player for the Canadiens in the next few years. So definitely don't sleep on Caufield. Do you agree or disagree with everything I said in this video? Make sure you let me know in the comments below. And if you like, feel free to call me out as well. If you want to watch more of my crappy videos, then make sure you click the links on the side right here.